Well, out of all the halves that could have crushed it in this Raiders and Seagulls game, I'm very glad it was Luke Brooks with 88. What a mammoth effort for someone averaging under 42 for the year, especially when you had Fogarty out there that I was death riding, and obviously DCE as well. And he turned that around greatly, and unfortunately for Fogs, wasn't the same. But Brooksy there with an 88 was an absolute cracker. Congrats to him on that one there. Sorry I'm late, boys and girls. I only just got back from, well, not a weekend away, but had a soccer game yesterday that I coach, and then stayed at my parents' place in Sydney and had a bit of fun. So there you go. We're back in action at home now, and here we are. Tommy Tobrojevic, 78 for him with a try assist in there as well. Big run meters, 8 tackle breaks, a cracking effort for him. And if you did decide to jump on this week, you were handsomely rewarded. Good stuff there. Yeah, Elliot Whitehead and Gerbo both doing good stuff. 74 for Whitehead is wild, so this is a pretty high scoring affair with 3 guys over 70 in this one. Yeah, Gerbo's 56, Josh Papali'i in his 301st game, but celebrating his 300th at home with a 53 was great. And then DC really chimed in. He was on 6 for a long time in this game, and then picked up a 52 in the end with a try assist and a try. So it was very similar to that, the effort of Britton Nickera. Not a lot was kind of happening, and then he picked up both the try assists and the try in this one to get him going there with a 52. So well done to owners of him. Probably hope for a little bit more, but it the way it panned out, it worked out great in the end. Taniela Paseka, 49 with Smithies there, both tied up on that front. Paseka with a nice try there and a good score. Lehigh Hopewadi, he's been really, really good. Been very impressed with him as a rookie this year, and he's made plenty of cash too. A tick under 40 is his average. Well done to that one there. KO Weeks with a 47. We're going through all the highlights here, as we always do, team. 47 for him with a line break and a try in this one. He had a pretty solid game. Couldn't get him the win, but a solid effort overall. KO Weeks there on that one, 47. The big news here is Joe Tarpane. He was 33 in 28 minutes when he had his first stint, and I was a bit worried as to how he'd go after he had that lovely try assist to Big Papa early on in this game, and then that sin bin for descent. So yeah, we can't have that in our game. But obviously, yeah, it's not a big way of getting a sin bin with the how things usually play out with big head highs and things like that. But that did cook him. Obviously, cost him 10 minutes given he'd just come back on for his second stint. And it obviously cost him 7 points there as well. So that's a tough one for Tarpany there. Could have ended up in the 60s or 70 like he did last time, which was incredible. So I got away with that one. He still worked hard for over a point a minute, 46 with a sin bin in as well. So good stuff there to be able to do that. Lawton and Strange both scoring over 40 there. Pretty solid for them. If you did hold on to Ethan, a 41 was good. Olakau'atu had an incredible start. He was over 20 very, very quickly, given he had a line break early. And then unfortunately it was missed tackles and errors that plagued his game here, and obviously no tries and try assists there for Olakau'atu. There were a bunch of people that did jump on and buy him. Completely fair enough. At 647, he'll have these great games. He'll have great games, but he'll also have these 40s, which he has a lot of 40-ish kind of games this year, and this is one of them. Ruben Garrick with 38. Wasn't his best game overall. Had 2 penalties, a missed tackle and an error, but I'm just very glad for him to get through the 80 minutes, which was awesome. And then Olakau'atu actually went off with a little bit of a knee issue from what I saw there. He was kind of battling with that in the last few minutes, and they just took him off because they'd already won this game. But Garrick, good thing for him. It was 2 line break assists and 7 goals in this one. So, yeah, was able to save his score at least and get a 38. And as I said, just glad for him to get through the full 80 minutes. Hudson Young at 37, a bit of a low one for him, unfortunately. You're not selling or anything like that, but he's up to 768 after those 2 mammoth scores. Tommy Talau with a 34 in a try and a try assist in his effort there. Pretty stock standard, I suppose, in these type of games sometimes for outside backs to get the odd attacking stat without heaps of tackle breaks or offloads there. This was the shocker of the day. It was Tom Starling. He did get the full 80, thank goodness. He picked up a line break in there. Was untouched in that for no tackle breaks, so 76 run meters, but 38 tackles, 8 misses. He just couldn't hang on in this game when he's been a 50 tackle guy for very, very little on the negative, sort of 2, 3, 4 max there, and had 8 in this one and just a very low number of tackles with plenty of points being scored, 46 to 24. There's obviously going to be lots of missed tackles on their side of the ball, and he was one of the king culprits. Unfortunately, Weeks had 5 at the back, so. Yeah, plenty to go around, that's for sure, but Starling had the bulk of them. And if you did buy him this week, it is super frustrating. Similar to that with Jamal Fogarty, 31. So it did help me out, but not good for a lot of people that have bought him because the last 2 weeks have been an absolute shocker. Given I wouldn't say last week was a shocker, but it's a lot less than people hoped to have bought from him. Picking up a 44 into a 31. Did have 4 goals in this one, but his try assists have fallen away, and his tackle numbers. He was 28 tackles for 1 miss, which is 26 net, and now he's got 11 net in this game. So that's 15 difference just in tackles, and then hardly running the footy just in 21 with 2 errors there for Jamal. So not his type of game, that's for sure, and hopefully a bounce back next week. You're obviously not going to sell him. Someone you could sell, and 2 people you could sell. And how is this happening now? Brown just had a stretch of 6 games there where he crushed it, and he really helped people out. And I wouldn't have really suggested him as a buy, apart from that, 6 game sample size. This is what his sample size looks like outside of that, 25 in 56 minutes. And obviously, with the score as high as it was always going to be one of those games for some middle forwards. But yeah, a bit of a shocker there for him. 25 in big minutes, and then you had Sipley with 19 and 24, so he's an easy trade out target. You're not really going to be looping any of his scores now with his minutes right down where they are, unfortunately. And then Rapana went off early in the 24th minute with 3 points. Simi Sasangi didn't look too great, missed a pretty important tackle there at one stage for sure, and then Ben Trebojevic off the bench. Adam Cook coming on and taking a little bit of kicking at 135 there, played 56 minutes though, obviously when Rapana went off there in that game. Alrighty, let's move on to the Cows up against the Broncos, and they really cooked this one. I had some heartbreaking moments for my own players in Drinkwater and Carraz in these final 2 games, and they really would have been really, really helpful. I cannot believe they both dropped them over the line. It's the scores you can get from some players just from one play. Like I believe Drinky, they put him up to about 45, and then you take that try away and push him all the way back to 27 or 28. So super rough, unfortunately. And that play for one. And then you also had, what was it now? I'll remember it when it comes through. And they're not kicking it dead, not kicking it out when you get a penalty. So they got the 50-meter penalty at halfway line after kicking it out in the full. And then to not be able to kick, like just go for too many meters, getting too greedy when they were up like 12 or 16, to not kick that out. That was a massive turning point, and they gave a penalty away straight away. And then the other one was when, Drinky, just didn't grab hold of that ball and place it down properly. He was a bit too lax on it, and that cooked me, and that cooked the team as well. And then the Broncos just went on an absolute barrage, and we deserved to lose that game with the way that things played out from that point on, unfortunately. So, very, very rough, and well done to the Broncos, obviously, there. But, had faith in my boys in this one and really needed it to be a strong team in the 8, and they just cooked it. But 5 Broncos, up over 60 there, was very, very impressive for them. So Stags with a 91. He's had 2 big scores in sort of the last month there, which has been massive. You had Corey Jensen there with a 73, with a try for him. 7 tackle breaks was massive with 213 metres. So much higher than what he's been producing in recent history, especially on the running side. But obviously with Haas out, he had to step up. Reynolds with a 68, 7 goals, big tackle numbers there. This looks very similar to Jamal Fogarty kind of stat line, obviously without usually 7 goals, but a couple of turnover tackles as well was great for him. And then Dean Marino in the centres there with a 65 was very impressive. And then Carrigan, who was pretty slow early on, about a 5 in 26 minutes, I think at one point, or 23 minutes, and pushed out to a 63, which was awesome. And a lovely try assist to Xavier Willison, who I did end up looping in my side there with his 47. So Carrigan well done on that front. 218 run meters as well was massive. The first Cowboy on the list was Ruben Cotter, and I'm very happy to see that. He played the full 80, 3 missed tackles, 39 made. It's obviously a little bit lower than what you might see in other games, just for the fact that there was a lot of points there. But 4 tackle breaks, 140 meters for Ruben. He worked extremely hard, and hopefully next week is a massive bounce back for these Cows, because that was a very terrible effort from about minute 25 onwards. Reece Walsh with 47, ended up going off, really dealing with a hand issue throughout the majority of that game, about from 25, 30 minutes onwards from what I recall. And it didn't hamper him too much. He still ran with force, obviously, and picked up 2 try assists, but just keep an eye on that one. That's the reason he didn't finish out the game. But still a really solid one at 47. And to be honest, this is how he ends up. He did have a lot more run meters this game, but tackle breaks seem to, they seem to elude him. He should be an 8 to 10 tackle break a game type of player, but he does seem to get the ball on an edge with pace, and then he either gets the try assist from one of his passes, or they do end up tackling him there, or he makes a clean break, or there's different things like that. But in this case, it was 3 line break assists and the 2 try assists for him. Like Willison to get the exact score as well, which is pretty wild. But that's what happens when you have base stats, don't have any negatives, and then pick up a late try with a tackle break there, which was awesome for Willison. So happy with that. And will be used as a looper for me next week, which will be fun as well. The loopers, they're helpful again this week, that's for sure. Varlea with 43, picked up a try. Jordan McLean, Ricky Townsend, Lukey, 38 for him. 68 minutes there for Helam, and 39 run meters, just gross on that front. You had Kyle Felt with 38, and we finally get to Drinky with the 37. So thank goodness for offloads and for kick meters, because 22 of his points came from that for a fullback that you'd hope to get some try assists, to get that try. It frustrates me that he didn't pick that up. It would have been a mid-50 score for Drinky, and I may have won some head-to-heads too, which would have been lovely. But unfortunately, not the case for there. But 37, not the end of the world, and got through unscathed as well. One more week out of him before we get get to use him as a looper, obviously there. Robson with 35, a very low one for him. 26 tackles made in 80 minutes in the 9 position is just wild. Dearden 35, picked up a try there. Plenty of good efforts defensively. Again, 3 errors for him in this one. Really hurt, unfortunately. You got Peter Kura with 35 in the 70 minutes for him. Yeah, a few more missed tackles, back to normal. Picked up a try assist in that one as well. So, yeah, it was a fine game, I suppose, for Brendan. McIntyre, solid enough, but lots of missed tackles for our Cows, obviously. And then Holmes, 30 in this one for him with 3 goals, 1 line break assist. Good run meters, but just still missing really important tackles down his left-hand side. So, not his best year at all defensively, and sadly enough. Marty Tapa'u with 18 tackle effort, 29 points for him. Hetherington, Rogers, Walters, Karapani, for anyone who bought him, picked up a try, saver, turnover tackle, and still only 25. So his lowest effort, and with 42 points on the board, you would have hoped for something on the attacking side, but that wasn't to be for him. And the big news here, obviously, Murray Talangi, 19 points, 73 minutes for him. Not ideal at all. Hope he's okay. And then Jeremiah Nanai was 7 in 28 minutes before he went off for a HIA. So, yeah, unfortunate in that case that he had the HIA. He was bleeding plenty. Made his 7 tackles and 33 run meters. Only obviously had the penalty and the inside 10. But just a very, very low start for him in this one. And then Sailor with 1, and same with Jackson Purdue out there with the Cows. So that were the 2 games for then, and then we'll finish off with the really, really good effort from the Doggies here, 28-10 victors in this one. It was great to see for the Doggies. They played really well. It was a fun game at the start, and then kind of obviously the Dogs got away with it a little bit. But the best scorers made sense in this one, to be honest with you. Little was 75. He was spectacular there for 59 tackles and 1 miss. So good. Not good to watch as a non-owner, but he crushed it with 2 turnover tackles as well. Out of the 59 made, fair play. Preston, just wish he was in my side. He's so good. 62 for him, 39 tackles, 2 tackle breaks and offload. A line break in there early in 110 meters with a turnover tackle. Did everything you'd want, and it's just such a guy to own. Like, going to play the rest of the games. Cracking guy at 711. He'll be like 720 odd, and still a really good buy if you want someone that's... Yes, he's had some injuries this year, but when he plays, he's been one of the better guys in the position, that's for sure. Lomax with a 60, had a really good game, to be fair. 2 offloads, 8 tackle breaks, 210 meters, a try, and a line break there. Him and Ben Hunt were definitely on sync for a lot of that game, which was nice to see. And then Kurt Mann got a nice try, really kind of sealed this game for him. Eisenhuth with a 55 in there in 48 minutes. He did a really good job in the time that he was allowed. And great PPM at that. For those that hopefully held on to Josh Curran, he picked up a runner ball 53, which was lovely. For owners there, 3 missed tackles only and an error, but 208 run meters, 2 turnover tackles, and even a forced dropout for Curran was great there as well. Good stuff for owners. Matt Burton, same situation, 51 for him. Toby Sexton has been awesome for this side, and we'll get into that in the 5 things learnt for the week. That's for sure. He'll definitely be a feature in that one, but Burton 51 with that runaway try was really good. It's just the 8 missed tackles that burnt him and the 1 error in this one for Burton, sadly. Luciano Leilua with 50 in his 70 minutes with a try assist and a try saver. Jaden Su'a good base stat game for him, 48 there without any tries or anything like that. Flanagan, 28 tackles for 0 misses. Well done on that. You get that little shout out as you should. Hayes there with 44 in 35 minutes. Worked so hard. He made 145 meters in 35 minutes and made 27 tackles. It's absolutely huge. He had development to 42 there. Can still be held if he's going to be around those minutes, I think. Kiraz is next on the list with a 40. A really good base stat game. Like, couldn't have asked for too much more. Unfortunately, had 4 errors in this one, a few batbacks, a few bits and pieces, but 1 missed tackle only. Making 7. Really happy with that. 4 tackle busts and a forced dropout. Could have hoped for a little bit more, but yeah, we'll have the odd 60-70 game in there for sure when he gets a try and an assist, and he got pretty close on one of them to getting over the line on that unders line there. Kick out with a 40. He was a bit all over the shop. 7 missed tackles, a line break, 3 offloads. So yeah, just plenty happening for him. Bronson Sherry, a really good season for him so far. Good on him for being able to come back after 4 years, making a mistake, and then coming back from that. Sully with 32. Hopefully he is okay. It didn't sound great. Medial type of issue it sounds like for him. Hayward a bit of a better score with the minutes that he was given at 46 with 32 points for him. The tough one here is obviously, Tracy with 30, not great with a line break and a LBA, but Reed Mahoney with 28 there in 57 minutes. It does sound like it. Yeah, the shoulder issue he went off the field with, he's been dealing with for a bit. So that would make sense on why his tackle numbers are a little bit down, and his involvement in general is a little bit down with these scores in the toilet at the moment, unfortunately. So the last 3 weeks have been a shocker, at least for Nicaragua owners, that was a big improvement this week. But for Reed owners, it was a bit of a downer again. And it just gets to that situation, right, where you've got a player and you're like, oh, it's just such a massive effort for them to garner points. And then there's other players you've got where it just flows. They have stretches of games where it's just, they're in the money, they're in the points, and it's just so easy and free flowing for them. And that's not happening for Reed at the moment. And hopefully that does turn around for owners, but with another addition, another aggravation of that shoulder, it may not happen in the near future, which could be pretty tough for owners, and especially when his price is in absolute free fall right now. He's averaging 51 for the season, but this 28 is going to drop him to a 620 or something like that, 630 with how low he's been scoring. So we priced at in that early to mid 40s when he's averaging 51 for the year. So absolute free fall for him. Unfortunately, Adokar with 27, Crichton with 25 with 173 run meters there was good effort, but plenty of takes himself rather than getting it out to Karaz, which is fair enough. And that was basically it. Curtis Morrow with 20, Hamsele. Thoughts and prayers out to him. He's still in hospital apparently with a bit of a heart murmur. No, irregular heartbeat, I should say. Sorry. And hopefully he is okay. And then Raymond Fatala-Mariner, 7 for him in 20 minutes off the bench. So bit of a low one for him on that one. That will do it for the Saturday night games review. As I'm catching up a little bit, but we've got time and they're short and sharp, and then we'll get the 5 things I learnt for the week. Probably after I've had some dinner. That would be nice. And thanks for being here, guys. Hopefully you had a decent week. I think I end up losing a bunch of ranks, but not too many with the GOAT Plathy. But we'll get to that game a little bit later, probably tomorrow. We'll get, as normal, we'll get through that programming and go from there. See you guys. Thank you.